bringing new perspective on this now from the man who was first on the scene that tragic night in Clay. Bill Craig is my special guest. It was back in March that you just happened to be driving down Verplank Road in Clay, not far from the Great Northern Mall. Thanks for coming in and talking with me today.
Thanks, Mike.
You heard this news along with the rest of us this morning, sort of a surprise guilty plea. We did not know it was going to come today. Where did your head go?
I was in disbelief, to be honest with you, a little bit. I was surprised at the plea, I'm sure, as a lot of people were. But I really thought that when this day would finally come, that I'd have some joy in this, and I really don't. I'm satisfied that David Renz is going to be in prison for the rest of his life, but it's bittered by the fact that Lori Bresnahan is still not walking this earth with us.
You were there that night. You were offering comfort to Lori. You took charge of the young victim here, the 10-year-old girl who was victimized by David Renz. There can't be anyone among us who isn't thrilled that this child will not have to go into open court and testify and relive what happened that night. But were you prepared to go in there and swear an oath and tell a jury what you've already told me in those interviews we did a couple of months ago about that night?
I would have went in and, again, I had already testified in front of the grand jury. Correct. And as difficult as that was, I would definitely do it again. And I was there to support the district attorney in whatever means, you know, that I could to prosecute this man. I mean, what he did that night is something that still haunts me.
You saw the video of him in court today, and you heard the district attorney say it is hard to believe when you see this slight man that he actually did this. When you see the video of him from today, what goes through your mind?
Really, the biggest thing that goes through my mind is I'm just happy that 25 years or 30 years from now, I don't ever have to worry about this man ever being on the streets of Central New York again. You know, as far as his appearance and in his stature, I think evil is evil, and it doesn't matter if you're 6'5" or you're 5'5".
How are you different? How have the last couple of months been? It's been now 2 months since we did our series of interviews on this, where you first told the story. What's changed for you?
I still have that emptiness, and you know, I still, every night I close my eyes, I look into Lori's eyes, and you know, I still care deeply about the young girl, and you know, the other thing that I think is real important to realize, and something that it was so awful, is I can't tell you how great the community's been in reaching out to myself and other people involved, really? and just giving us a great big hug. I mean, for as much evil that was there that night, there's been tenfold of kindness in this community, and I'm glad to see that come out.
You have, in the weeks after this happened, you have become an advocate. We've listed the laws you want changed. We know that you take great issue with what was going on in federal probation. We know that people were fired there. Congressman Dan Maffei is working and pushing some new legislation to get some oversight in that office. Finally, we know that there really isn't a whole lot of oversight there. Where does the advocacy piece of this stand now? Are you still actively involved on a weekly basis, maybe a daily basis?
I am still, probably not on a daily basis, but weekly. I'm still following up with the Congressman Maffei's office, you know, calling his office, seeing where we stand. To date, even though Congressman Maffei intends to introduce some legislation to set a defined standard operating procedures for the federal probation office and to have some oversight, that still has to be done. As satisfying as today is for our community, there are still things that we need to do. Also, I'm still working with the local legislation on trying to get that bill, that legislation passed with that narrow scope that we're looking for unsealing juvenile records when it comes to sexual predators. You know, Senator DeFrancisco was able to get that through committee on the Senate side of the House, and it passed overwhelmingly, 59-4. And even though we have strong support in the Assembly locally from Assemblyman Sturpey, Assemblyman Magnarelli,
hard to believe it's a hard sell downstate. Hard to believe.
They can't even get it through committee to go on to the floor, and this deserves a vote.
Bill Craig.
Thanks, Mike.
It's been a pleasure to get to know you.
And you also, sir.
Thank you so much.